The issue of the youth is a very, very challenging and is a very emotional issue. You cannot leave 80% of your demography to nothingness. You cannot use them as touts at every election. Every election, average politician in the ruling party comes with a box of money to pacify the youth. And the youths too, in their gullibility, takes those money and they vote for these idiots to go back into power. So why do you take 2,000 naira to sell your votes? Why do you take 3,000 naira? Why do you take 500 naira? Why do you take 2 packets of Indomie noodle? Why do you take 10 yards of Ankara? We are still talking about SARS, but I'm trying to let you have an in-depth knowledge of the ingredients that led to the controversy, that led to the crisis of trust between the youth and the security agency. Ankara 4 yard, 500 naira. In what scenario, 1,000 naira. And they say, anje òṣèlú. Irú òṣèlú orí burúkú ò lè ń jẹ owó ẹ̀. Òṣèlú tó fi ń sábẹ́ ìdè. Òṣèlú tó fi ń sábẹ́ ibi. Òṣèlú tó fi ń sábẹ́ ìpayín keke. Òṣèlú tó fi ń sábẹ́ àrékérekè. So òṣèlú wo ẹ wá ní SARS ń pa àwọn èèyàn? Because there is no rule, there's no law, there's nothing. Everything is divided. You should talk to real people who think. Ọmọ Oyèlé Sowore, Aisha Yesufu. These are the kind of people you should talk to. Then look for Segun Awosanya. Then look for Lukman Oyewole Lawal, who is now working with the speaker. Lukman Oyewole Lawal has, I have seen it. He has the document. What they call it? He has a formula on youth development. Go and search for him. That guy, I know him. I've interviewed him severally. Well, it's another very good opportunity this morning to speak to the heart of leaders and especially our young people in regard of this SARS argument that is going on. Well, I've looked at the issues critically, and at times I felt maybe one should just observe and keep looking, and maybe we should not do anything about it. But you see, it is very important that we talk about this issue. We must talk about it because these are issues that are germane to the life of this country and to the real deal of youth development. In this campaign that is going on, this is almost a week now that we've been having this societal headache with, and you can see that for the first time in Nigeria, something that is almost close to a spring is being observed. I mean, a kind of a spring whereby people take out themselves and ask questions about governance, about leadership, ask questions about development, and ask questions about justice, about equality, and they're asking questions about a whole lot of things that is affecting the young people. Not just the young people, but the security organ of a country. So why are they asking that we should end SARS? Then what is the nexus between security and youth development? It is just very easy. I'm so very disappointed, and I hope my voice is going to be heard in almost everywhere that it matters. For a long time we've been yarning, we've been talking about the state of the youth itself. We've also been asking and we've been yarning about the state of the police. It appears that corruption has taken over. Corruption has become a sector. Corruption, injustice has become an industry. And when you look at the nexus between the police and the young people, you see that it is too close. The correlation is balanced, because where you have a burgeoning youth element, you must also have what we call the keep at it strategy. You know, the Yorubas will say onodoma yo, meaning that the youth are exuberant, and when you have an exuberant crowd, I mean, definitely there are going to be a lot of other things that will crop up. There's going to be crime, there's going to be creativity. So what is the difference between crime and creativity? Creativity in the sense that there are some people that are going to be uniquely creative, then there are going to be some people that are going to be negatively creative, and it's because the youths are not being managed properly. If you have a youth system that is being managed properly, then creativity will be at the topmost level than crime. Then the security apparatus itself has been polluted because of maybe low motivation and a sense of gratitude that is not being given. How did we get to this level? We got to this level because it appears that the political elite, the leadership itself, are fast asleep. For the first time now, President Buhari is seeing another dilemma. He's seeing another drama. The police authority themselves, they are seeing a lot of new things coming up. How can the police in a democratic country be hostile to the young people? Then, on the other hand, how can a democratic country leave 80% of its crowd, of its citizens, to be loafing around? And what I want to really touch on this matter is that we should lay the blame at the door of the politicians. We should lay the blame at the door of the political elites. The political elites are so indifferent to the challenges of the young people. A political culture that allow young people to be used as touts, a political culture that allow young people to be hailers. The other day I released a video after the Edo election, and I made mention about what our youth have turned to. I said there is hardly a local government you go to in Lagos, in Nigeria, you don't see a bunch of young people who are permanently on drugs, permanently on shepe, permanently on ogogoro, permanently on weed. And when these horrible, stupid, and unfortunate politicians get down from their jeeps, from their vehicles, it's the same youth that is hailing them. I mean, you have to be disturbed. If I'm a politician, it should disturb me that the largest part, the 80% of my demography, the youths are 80% of the Nigerian demography. It should disturb me that these same people who have quality energy, who have productive energy, are just abandoned on the streets. Every election cycle, we use them as political talk. We use them as harbingers of problems, harbingers of crisis. Then after the whole exercise, by the time we get the victory that are not even genuine, then you abandon them. In most cases, you abandon them with the weapons that you gave them to attack or to disrupt or to create crisis. Then from there, we start to have a cream of young people who are dejected. Some have even joined NURT unions. Majority are even into transportation, Okada riding. Some are into Keke Marwa riding. Then, on the other side, we have a police force that the politicians have also polluted. Look at the horrible amount of money that the sergeant is collecting, that the constable is collecting. Look at the brokers of that SARS operative that spoke on Info Niger. Look at the kind of problem that these men face. Look at the kind of money you give them. Even take a visit to their barracks. Are you talking about Ikeja barracks here? Or any of the barracks in Lagos? Just go to a natural police barrack and you see the kind of life they live. How do you expect creativity to emerge? How do you expect them to be prolific in their job? How do you expect them to be professional in their job? How do you expect them to be ethical in their job? It only amounts to a hush puppy situation. A hush puppy situation means that everybody will try to survive. And let's now get to the bottom of the matter. Every useless or merited politician have 2, 3, 4 police guiding his wives, 2, 3, 4 police guiding his kids that are going to the school, and he has almost 8 policemen guiding himself. And you ask yourself, what is the statistics of the Nigerian police? If you look at the statistics, how many police we have for the nation? In advanced countries like Norway, like Sweden, like Denmark, at least you have 10 police to the streets. You have a good number of policing that guide the city, guide the town, guide the district. But in Nigeria now, how many police? Even if you call the police now, I've experienced this severally. We've used police to arrest, to effect situations, and we have to pay through our news. As I'm doing this video now, go to a natural police station and report a case. If you are not dropping a motivational fund, nobody is going to listen to you. They are not even going to follow you. It is when you now take them on the course of the investigation that you start to hear a lot of horrible story, when you hear the kind of amount they are collecting. And politicians feel so confident, they feel so comfortable. In fact, I must confess on this broadcast, the generation of politicians from 1999 to this time are the worst set of politicians we ever experienced in Nigeria. And that was one of the reasons we brought President Buhari to power. Some of us were committed. I personally, and a lot of other people that think like me, we believe that President Buhari will come and change a lot of things. Though he tried. In 2011, I voted for him. I remember I was working in a newspaper in those days, and there was a day my publisher said we should do a test. I think that time it was Buhari Bakare, then Jonathan Sambo, and Ribadu Adeola. He gave us, my publisher gave us 500 naira to go and buy a recharge card. I'm trying to tell you how profound we took the challenge of bringing President Buhari to power and voting him. My publisher then, I will not mention his name for security reason, gave us 500 naira to go and buy recharge card. And he said we should send to 10 people and tell them between A, B, C, who are you going to vote in the next election? And the A is Jonathan Sambo, A, B, Buhari Bakare, C, Ribadu Adeola. And you know what happened? When I got my own card, I sent to 10 people that are my own friends. And 7 came out, they turned out in support of B, Buhari Bakare. Only 3, I think within the 3, we had 2 that supported Jonathan Sambo and 1 supported Ribadu Adeola. And when I brought my report to my publisher, when I gave it to him, I remember he took it and stoned me with that with that sheet of paper. And he said, Asabi, why are you too excited? What's wrong with you? Because every other person in that newsroom brought Jonathan Sambo. And my publisher was wondering that why should I? He thought I lied. But you see the deep color to the deep. The kind of people I sent my questionnaire to are people that share my thoughts. And 7 came back supporting Buhari Bakari. But I was punished for that discretion. My publisher got mad with me, and I think that was the generation of some of the crises that eventually led to my resigning from that newspaper in October 2012. Don't forget that the same 2011 was when my role model and mentor, Chief Dele Momodu, went into presidential contest. And I remember that he went through NCP, that is National Conscience Party. He first tried another party, I think it was a Labour Party, and he had challenges with the national chairman, one Chief Daniel Omayao, and he confessed to us because we used to have meetings in hotels. We used to meet him anytime he comes into Nigeria, and there was campaign and all that. You know, we used to have meetings with him at different fora, and he complained to us bitterly how he was neglected. Dele Momodu complained to us bitterly, but in my heart of hearts, I worked for him. I did a lot. We did reports. We did a lot of things without collecting money, but I voted President Muhammadu Buhari. I didn't vote Dele Momodu, and it's not that I didn't love Dele Momodu. I love him, I appreciate him, but I knew and I strongly believe he couldn't handle the situation in Nigeria, especially as regard corruption. Because you know why? The kind of friends I see around him. I believe anybody that like to party hard, anybody that like the good life, might not be able to face it when it comes to the rigors of governance. And that was why we voted Buhari. We carried it on our head. It's not about money. Buharism is not about money, it's about solution. Then the same thing repeated itself in 2015. We thank God that we scaled through. Now back to the issue of politicians. Of course, Buhari has traveled on that journey with politicians that don't share his passion. He traveled on that rigorous journey. And unfortunately for him, age is not even his friend. And he came out to say that when he went to South Africa after his victory in his first encounter with Nigerians in South Africa, he said he would have loved to do enough, but age will disappoint him. We agree. And that's why we are still looking at all of them that are going to play. They say they want to come and rule in 2023, and their age is not friendly with reality. When you are above 70 and you want to come and rule, what are you going to do for the youth? And your democracy is about settlement. This is some of the problems that have destroyed the fabrics of morality in this country. Let's talk about SARS. How did we get to this level? A cream of young people that are employed in the police to tackle robbery, but because they have guns in their hand, they have ammunition, and they suddenly became freaky up. They suddenly see themselves as Lord of the Manor. They suddenly see themselves as people who can do anything. In fact, some of them they will boast, and that is what happened when the democracy is wrong. When the political class are a bunch of scallywags without orientation for governance. When the political class are people that share money, settle everybody, suppress opposition. When intellectuality is not the hub of the game. Look, I'm not saying I'm not disappointed with President Buhari. I appreciate him. I know he's working. I know he's just a victim of his own circumstance. Okay, look at it now. Just yesterday, he announced an aide as an INEC commissioner. Then you ask question, who advised the president? Who are his kitchen cabinets? Who are his court intelligentials? Who are those people who go out to observe and gauge the emotions of the people. Who are those who come back to tell him the honest truth? Is President Buhari so fasting to elitism? Elitism is what takes you out of the reality of the obvious. Elitism is a stealer of reality, is a killer of reality. When you are eliticized and you don't see what is going on again, because you are in Aso Rock, you have 24 hours non-interruption of power supply. Then from Aso Rock Villa, you are festooned into a bulletproof car with AC. Then you are festooned to the airport. If it's an international journey, you are in the Air Force One or the aeroplane, you are gone. Then if it's a local journey, you are given a high power helicopter. But that is not even a bad thing. But you must have people that goes out to the cities, people that gather intelligence about how people feel. And that is why we got into this problem of SARS. And that's why you see the youth very angry for the first time. We just got out of a corona situation. And what did the coronavirus taught us in this country? Between March and April, you saw how terrible the security thing became. In Lagos, a lot of family couldn't sleep. People were vigilant. People became emergency vigilantes. Cutlasses became hot cake in the market. Cutlasses sold more than brooms because robbery took a new dimension. Hungry people unleashed the terror of their hunger on everybody. And it's because there's a problem with the youth, with the young people. And the politicians never saw this venom. They were busy junketing in their elitist paraphernalia. They were junketing in their elitist paraphernalia. And that is why I keep saying it, that it is high time that we start to disregard them. It is high time that we start to cut them to size. It is high time that we start to look down on them and call them by their name. Because they are negligent. They have nothing to offer. Last year, I think it was around May 20, I was returning from Abuja and I boarded Arik. I think it was in the evening. I wouldn't forget the day, but I know it was 20th of May, if I can still locate the ticket. And I saw one of the APC senators in Lagos, Yahoo. Well, he might not be a too bad person, but I saw him in the first class. But because of the anger I have for his party in Lagos, I didn't even greet him. Before, my natural me, I would have gone to greet him, exchange card and all that. I just walked up to my economy seat behind and sat. And that is how I have decided to start to deal with all these politicians. If you represent a party and in the state I'm living, 80% of the roads are in bad shape, I cannot take my car out. Even if I enter a transport, the vehicle is doing blu. You cannot even enjoy a honest 5-kilometer transport in Lagos. And you represent that party, and I see you in the airport, I will not honor you with a greet. If I see you anywhere, I will definitely not honor you because you don't deserve to be honored. The issue of the youth is a very, very challenging and is a very emotional issue. You cannot leave 80% of your demography to nothingness. You cannot use them as touts at every election. Every election, average politician in the ruling party comes with a box of money to pacify the youth. And the youths too, in their gullibility, takes those money and they vote for these idiots to go back into power. Some of them become so humble during the election. They become so very receptive. They become so emergency niceties. They become Mr. Nice for that season. You see them close range, you talk to them, relate with them. But immediately they secure victory, they become your enemy. You cannot access them again. So why do you take 2,000 naira to sell your votes? Why do you take 3,000 naira? Why do you take 500 naira? Why do you take 2 packets of Indomie noodle? Why do you take 10 yards of Ankara? We are still talking about SARS, but I'm trying to let you have an in-depth knowledge of the ingredients that led to the controversy, that led to the crisis of trust between the youth and the security agency. A lot of youths are into Yahoo. In fact, do you know the worst scenario? Some mothers are even supporting their children to practice the Yahoo. How did we get here? Where are the industries that are going to engage these youths? Where are the productive scholarship that government is going to give that is going to take them out of the street so that they can be busy? Where are the scheme? We have a minister of sport that does not even appear that is alive. When you appoint people into position because those people are political children of one politician, that is what happened. And that is where all these police get their own senses, because what they tell themselves is that politicians are eating their own, we should eat our own. Investigate 80% of these SARS men, you wonder how much they have in their accounts. You wonder how much. Some of them spend money like water. In fact, I went to a friend's house around the Jokoro area to see her, and she was telling me about one Ade-Sax that lives around there. I think it's around Mero area in Ojokoro. That this guy spends money. He lives in a hotel year in, year out. He pays for a whole year. Nobody can trace where he lives, but he operates from a hotel, and he has rings of girlfriends. He's so rich. He changes cars. Some of these SARS men, some of them even have properties. They have cars, automobiles that you will open your mouth. If a SARS guy is collecting, let's say he's collecting 25,000 per month, and is driving a Range Rover worth 15 million, then you ask, how did he get to that level? How did he become so rich? And some of them even have hotels. They build hotels that they are running. Go to Ibadan, in Oyo State, and even in Lagos. Some of them are so rich that you wonder how they accumulated that wealth. And you say you have a police leadership that is educated. You ask yourself, what kind of government do we have? Who are the politicians? Who is thinking for President Buhari? Who advises the president on the issue of youth and security? And this thing is not just limited to the police. Recently, we have done investigation. The one in the immigration is so worse. Very soon, I'm going to release some voice notes of what happened recently when my relatives were traveling abroad, how they made them to pay some very unfortunate amount of money. That is by the side. What of the one that is happening in the healthcare centers? My very passionate relative were traveling recently to the US just 2 weeks ago, and a health center where they live in the Jokoro area told them to come and do their COVID-19 tests. This COVID-19 test, they gave them advice that, you have to do it within 3 days, because you have to do it close to when you are traveling so that it won't expire because of the money involved. And you know what I discovered? Of course, a 77-year-old man and a 61-year-old woman came and they did the test, and he said, you've sent a sample to IDL in Yaba. He said you've sent the test. Then you told them to come and collect their results. Before then, I've heard about people that even cried at that center, old women, that their traveling supposed to be the next day, and they disappointed them. Then, the day they came, that was on the 29th of September, they came to collect their results, only for you to tell them that, you have to go to IDL, that though your result is out, you are negative, all of you are negative, but IDL, the new law is that you have to go to IDL to go and collect the screening paper. And when they called me, I jumped on the road to go and see them. When I got there, the guy told me a lot of stories. He even showed me, he opened the laptop and showed me names of people that have negative. And I asked him, if they are negative, why didn't you call them to come and take their whatever? And if they did the test in your center, why can't you use the same process you used to take the test there? Why can't you use the to return their official, their letter that they've passed? Then he said to me, oh, you know, we can't, since they are negative, we can't call them. To say they are positive now, we will have called them, then we'll have been telling them how they are going to, we'll have come and pick them so that we can start giving them treatments. And I wondered. After spending 30 minutes, I said, okay, print it out. He said he can't print it out, that we have to go to Yaba. Then I said, okay, give me their number so that we can use it to trace their results, so that it could be easy. Then he gave me, there's another lady called and said, Modina, they gave me the tag for the two of them. Then we got an Uber, we got to Yaba. You can imagine the rigors. And on getting to Yaba, they said we should go to EO6. I don't know. So we got the first gate, second gate, third gate. And when we got to the gate leading to that EO6, where they say we are going to get the result, what happened? The security man said, no, you can't enter. That you have to go back to that center. It is there, you're going to give you the paper. Then when you come here, we're going to give you final results. And I said, wait a minute. Why do you want to disturb everybody? These are elder citizens, old people. A 77-year-old man and his wife, 61 years, disturbing them. So I called Modinat in the center in Ojokoro. You can imagine the length of challenge, the journey between Ojokoro to IDL, Yaba. That is at the back of Yaba College of Technology. I called, I said, this is what we are meeting here, blah, blah, blah. And they both spoke on phone. I have it. I have the recording. I'm going to do a video on that differently. And the woman said, yeah, but that's what you say. You people, you attend to them. Then the guy said, no. Or guy here has said that they should not come here again. They should get the document from you. Then when they come here, we will stamp it. And the confusion was so much. But before we left Ojokoro, they told us 2 hospitals that can do it at an exorbitant money. So I told my elderly relative, I said, look, we need to move quick because you are traveling on, in fact, they have to change the flight. You are traveling on Friday, so we are traveling on Saturday, and today is Thursday. So let's take decision. And that was how we went to Afri Global on Mobology Bank Anthony, where we went through a rigor, and they told us 50,400 per person. 50,000. When we got there, my elderly female relative was like, oh, is it 50,000 or 15,000? The front office officer said 400. That was how we were pushed into an emergency. I have to take her card. We withdrew all the money in the account, 106,000. And I remember we paid 101,000 for 2 of them. And we had an understanding that they should come for the test the next day. The next day we have to put them in Uber. Then, luckily, there was a cancel in the flights. My brother in US have to now rearrange another flight for them, which was going to take off. That's what they call it, on the 1st of October. That was on the Friday. That is Qatar. And that was the day we went to collect the results. And the rigor was just too much. For a whole 3 days, we were running mad. And that is the kind of collaborative corruption that happens. The public health centers don't want to do it free. So the medical system, they slightly put it to the private hospital, because the private can collect the money from you under duress. And I don't know how they share it. I'm sure there is going to be some, this is just an allegation. I think that's what I feel. It kind of spread around. And this is a strategy because it is the health center where they gave us the name of that hospital, the private hospital we attended. They said that's where they do it for people. If you want to travel, you want to go. So what is stopping them from making it free? Why should a democracy, why should politicians make life difficult for ordinary people? And that is why you see, and that is the result on SARS and the youth. The SARS men, they are as a result of the society. They have girlfriends in the society, they are married in the society, they have children in school too. They are human beings. So what they see politicians stealing money. I'm sorry, the way I dress is a protest video. It's a protest video. They see politicians, the way they take the money, the way. Just a few days ago now, a legislative aide in Lagos State House Assembly was caught stealing dollars in the office of a honorable. Maybe we should call them dishonorable. If our Lagos State House Assembly is one of the most, I can't understand it. There is no activity. There's no. I can't see what they are even doing. When you say the speaker has 60-something private accounts, when allegation of roguery is being leveled against the speaker, and the whole house say they are voting, they pass a vote of confidence on him, that there's nothing, that even if the FCC tries him for 100 years, he remains their speaker. So look at how that intellectual decay has cascaded down to the security. Then look at the effect. We have a political class that don't have any program, nothing for the youth. The legislators are in Abuja. When you go to the National Assembly, you see very exotic cars with their names as plate number. You see people dress, they buy the best wristwatch, they put on the best attire, they know where to get the brand, all the best brand in the world, they drive the best exotic cars, they take the best package, but they don't give the best ideas. They don't have any ideas. Any idea that is going to they're going to save people from suffering, they are not there. Speaker Gbaja Biamila said he's sponsoring a bill when he was still on the floor against estimated billing in the power sector. Right now, the bill is still hanging. I don't think it has even passed first or second reading. But when it comes to the bill that is going to take money out from the ordinary people, when it comes to the bill that is going to involve taking tax from people, that will be fast-tracked. But a bill that is going to challenge and stop illegal extortion by power distribution companies, a bill that is going to stop estimated billing, is still hanging. And Mr. Gbaja is now the speaker. And they said that the Senate has to concur for the bill to become a law. Now, what is stopping a former lawmaker who is now a speaker and almost going to a year now from effecting? I think it's even, yes, more than a year, going to a year. What is stopping a lawmaker that was so passionate about estimated billing from effecting it and calling his colleague at the Senate, Senator Lawal, and say, let's make this thing happen? Because eventually we are all going to leave these chambers back to the streets of our various cities, and we're still going to meet this problem on ground. But the politicians are busy. You go to Transcorp Hilton, you see them there living a lavish life. You go to the streets of Abuja, you see them driving very expensive automobile. You can see Senator Dino Melaye exhibiting all his automobiles. How did he make the money? He made the money as a serving honorable, serving senator. All these cash were made there. So where is the law? Where is the legislative power? Where is the legislative dividend that will help the Nigerian youth? Where is the legislative dividend that will make the police to be well paid, well motivated, and prepare for the task? Is it when we have a spring that you now say, look, government should understand that if you don't change, look at the book I bought last when I traveled, The Origins of Power, Prosperity and Poverty. Right now in Nigeria, we are still dealing with poverty. Then the power which is in the hand of the politician is being misused to the detriment of the ordinary people. The power is being used to cheat the system. The poor people don't matter. Now, where is the prosperity? This prosperity is only favoring lawmakers, politicians, the political elites are the one. Then the poverty is thrown at the ordinary people. The people at the lowest rung of the society. Poverty is their own lot. Every cycle of election, in fact, is so insulting. Every cycle of election, they bring Gary. An idiot, another idiot, will cook rice in our own area and be sharing to 200 to people. She will cook rice, cook food, bring drink. Somebody that you will not see again in the next 4 years. Say, Eje kon jeun. Let me even give you a shocking story. There was a time a honorable passed away in the popular area I used to live in Ifako Ijayi. I think he dropped dead in Abuja. And there was going to be a by-election. And because we are doing a project for a woman leader in that area, so you know all these women leaders, the way they behave at times. Myself and my team, we got to her house, and she was about to go and buy some things, and she was like, oh, I hope you're going to follow me so that I can give you some tips in the car. I can give you your money. Then we can talk about it as we travel, as we journey. So I said, no problem. She was trying to go to Songwater, Indomie, and before she goes there, she has to go to the bank. So she and few other women were in that jeep. They just gave her the car, very wonderful car, a Prado jeep. I was there, and I think God wanted me to see what is happening and how they term you ordinary people. We first drove to the bank, which was far away, around the Ijako area. I think she got some money, and as we were going down to Idiroko side, where the United Food Factory is situated, she wanted to go and buy the Indomie in large quantity. And what was that quantity of Indomie for? It was because they want to share it to voters for the coming in by-election. And as they were going, she was one driving, and they were arguing with other women. She was like, níjọ́ election tó bá ti fún ọ ní Indomie, tó bá ti fún ọ ní package méjì wọ́n lọ sí wọ́n ṣe ń jìbò báyìí kó máa gbà kó dẹ̀ lọ jẹ. Then another woman say, mommy, mbà dé advice yín ká kàn tẹ̀ ra gàrí, bó jẹ́ gàrí díẹ̀ ká kọ́ ṣe sínú pack, ká dẹ̀ fi picture honourable yẹn sí ká fi sí, a dẹ̀ fi ẹ̀pà síbí kan náà tó bá fún wọn, or ká ṣe sẹ̀mó ká ra sẹ̀mó tó pọ̀ ká dẹ̀ ṣe díẹ̀ fún wọn. And the woman say, ìyẹn wọn máa nídìí gbogbo yẹn, ìyẹn ti wàhálà yẹn ti pọ̀, Indomie tó bá ti ń ṣe bòbá tó ń délé wọ́n ṣe wọ́n ti ń jẹ nìyẹn. That is the quality of your vote. Indomie, packet of Indomie. In their mindset, in their psyche, they know that you are so hungry, and that if they bring anything to you, you will take it. Eventually, we got to the place, but she wanted to buy like, I think, 150 cartons. And the very cool man who was supposed to take it from Ogun State from Idiroko to Lagos said, I cannot take it. If I come into your Lagos now, last man will arrest me, VIO will arrest me, the police will arrest me. You can imagine the kind of bottleneck of problem that the politicians have caused for the ordinary people. And that was how the driver said he can't take it despite the money. And eventually she has to drive down back to Sango to go and be negotiating some other stuff she could buy for the by-election. I think the money was in her hand, and she wanted to buy those things in large stocks so that she can share with other women leaders who are already sitting in her house, so that they can take it to the different polling joints. That is the kind of electorate that we have. That is the kind of electoral value that this politician has given. And today now, they will tell you they want to be president in 2023. President of beggars or president of realists? Is it president of people that are achieved or people that are put under pain and pangs of the society? Is it president of people that you have made to be collecting money every Salah, every Christmas at your gates, and at times some of them will be stampled and they will die? President of people that you've been giving Indomie in the last 20 years plus? President of people that you've been dashing Ashwebi and their mothers are dancing, beating drum to follow you any political gathering, and their children are busy looking for what to eat. Some of them are even into Yahoo. A majority of them are driving Okada. Some are driving Korope. A lot of them are just disjointed. So, and in the front of these people, the police that you engage, they see you steal all this money. So the orientation drops down from the rank. So, are they the same people that you want to vote? They want them to vote for you, to see you as their leader? People that you've put in chain, their roads are in bad shape, their educational life is in bad shape, even the cost of living is in bad shape. They cannot enjoy 2 meals per day. So they have to be so vegetated, in the sense that they are vegetated. They just follow you from one political meeting to the other, collecting packet of Indomie, Ankara 4 yard, 500 naira. In what scenario, 1,000 naira, and they will say, anje owó òṣèlú. Irú òṣèlú orí burúkú ò lè ń jẹ owó ẹ̀. Òṣèlú tó fi ń sábẹ́ ìdè, òṣèlú tó fi ń sábẹ́ ibi, òṣèlú tó fi ń sábẹ́ ìpayín keke, òṣèlú tó fi ń sábẹ́ àrékérekè. So owó òṣèlú wo ẹ wá ní SARS ń pa àwọn èèyàn? Because there is no rule, there is no law, there is nothing. Everything is divided. The house are falling apart. Things have really fallen apart, according to late Chino Achebe. Things are really falling apart, and that is why the SARS are killing. They stop. In fact, to be honest with you, I think it was on that same. Okay, it was on the 30th. We are coming of September in Ikeja, and we're in a Tasify. and we're along that Guinness area, and the guy told us that this vehicle going. And you know how these useless SARS people operate? They operate with vehicles without number. So that when they pick anybody, nobody can trace. It is evil. President Buhari, it is one of the biggest evil that happened in our time. I'm not saying Yahoo Plus is a good thing. I'm not saying Yahoo boys are to be appreciated. No. But when people gather themselves with gun and they take a vehicle without number and they are picking people and they take them to a corner and either threaten to kill them or make them to go and withdraw money for them, that has become a horrible fascist state. In fact, that has become a lawless society. President Buhari, I pray that after 3 years when you leave, people will remember you for good. I sincerely pray. And I pray that by the time you leave, people will not stone us that we voted you in. The memory of what happened recently is crazy. And I know you don't want it that way. As we were passing through Guinness, the taxify man told us that, look at those guys in that vehicle. The guys, they peeped in our vehicle, but because they saw an elderly person, in our car. So and the guy said, as they are going, you will soon see them, you will soon pull a car, they will soon stop a car, you will see. We were in a slow motion traffic, and within 2 minutes, as if the taxify man was a prophet, we saw them, they pulled a guy by his car, a Corolla white, and they dragged the guy out, and the way they operate, you just see gun everywhere, and they started searching the guy. They started their drama, and we passed. As we were going, trying to make it on, we saw another one, and he said, and the taxify man said, I want to know here that anywhere you see them, you see darkness. The police can do better. Why should you arrest people in a Gestapo mode? And why should you give power to people who don't have sense? Most of these SARS boys, they don't have sense. They behave as if life and death is in their hand. You've read a lot of horrible story. My brother Steve Aborishade shared a pathetic story on his Facebook yesterday. He said there was a time they went for a conference in Ibadan. And this is an agency that has to do with HIV, awareness on HIV/AIDS. They had a program in Ibadan in a hotel, and they were robbed in the night. You know, when you go to cities and you just sleep in any hotel anyhow without doing your due diligence, you are bound to face a very herculean experience. They were robbed in the night, and in the course of robbing, they took some of their personal effects, and some of them even lost their ID card, blah blah blah, and they lost money. They lost so much. And he said after the event, he went back to Lagos only for him to get a call from one of their agents, one of his food executive, a lady that she has been arrested by SARS. What happened? The robbers that robbed them in the hotel went to another place to rob, and as they were leaving, maybe they mistakenly dropped the ID card of that woman, the card that they collected with the belonging they seized in the hotel. They dropped it at another place where they went to rob after robbing the hotel. So the owner of the place, those traumatized family now gave the card to SARS, and SARS effected the arrest of this lady. They called her. I don't know how they got her number. Maybe they invited her or something. Maybe the card had a phone number. They got her, and she now called Steve Aborishade to come and help her out of the case. When Steve got to their place in Ibadan, he left Lagos to Ibadan. That was then. That was his own experience. He told them, oh, I'm this, I'm that. This is what I do. I'm a journalist. I'm an NGO person. We had this experience, and I think that's where she lost her card to the robbers. And they said, oh, we are not going to listen to that. And they arrested him immediately. And he was wondering. They said, no, we have to take you to where the robbery took place so that we can know if you are one of the robbers, that we don't take your story. They didn't even listen, and he's a journalist. They took him to that environment, that house, the neighborhood where the robbery took place. And the only luck he had was that when they showed him to the family that does this guy look like any of the robber that came, Luckily, by divine intervention, those families said no, and which is true. He was not part of the robbery. But what of if he mistakenly looked like one of those robbers? Maybe his spot belly looked like them, or maybe his facial looked like them. They would have just summarily shot him there, and an innocent soul would have been wasted. And you know how intelligent Steve Aborisade is. A bundle of talent. And eventually they took him back and they locked him up until he started to call some very influential people who came and intervened and spoke to the police high command before his release was effected. With that of his aide. That is the kind of SARS. A SARS that is tactless. A SARS that is not intelligent. A SARS that is useless. A SARS that is so ambitious. A SARS that smokes, that drinks. They dress like touts. One day we were in Oshodi. We were going for an event. We want to go and interview Chief Abelo Ogundoku in Festa. And if you see these boys, in fact, they were on dreadlock. They have earrings on their hair. And they were carrying very assorted AK-47 ammunition. And they were going gra, gra, gra. And they say they are SARS. Even their dress code is a killer. Their dress code is something that puts you off about them. So, if you're saying SARS, if they're saying SARS, the campaign worth it. Even before this campaign, just 2 Saturdays ago, I was moving around our area here. It was somewhere that Fagba junction there. And what did I see? I just saw them, they were taking one way with an unnumbered vehicle. And they were coming, and before you know it, they just stopped and they just came out and they just picked the guy and dragged him into the vehicle. A guy that was waiting to enter Keke Marwa going to Ogba or Agege. He was waiting with other people though. They just dragged him. Boom. And the funny thing is that your vehicle is unnumbered. So how do we trace you? What if the family of the guy was there? You could say, oh, the Sienna that arrested Tony, or the Sienna that arrested Femi, or the Sienna that arrested Kumi was the one that has so number. So they can at least trace the number. But these useless SARS guys will use vehicle without number. That is assassination. That is hooliganism. Hey, that is emotional distress. In fact, it is nothing to write home about. I never believe in my imagination that we will be under in Nigeria, governed by an upright man like Buhari, and things like this will be happening. At times I wonder, is it the same Buhari that I voted for in 2011, in 2015, that I've been shouting, that I've been so mad about since 2007? Is it the one still in power? Who are the people working for him? And Mr. President, why do you allow people to stay too long on their job? Why are they begging you to retire this? Someone like Mr. Lai Mohammed will come and be talking now. These are people that are old. They are advanced in age. Why can't we just let him go and rest and employ another person to be the Minister of Information? Why should people sit? Look at Barrister Fashola, one of the most finest, intelligent administrators we have in Nigeria. He has become so redundant in Abuja. I'm not saying he's not even working. Look at the roads in Lagos. Look at the federal roads. Why is he not so concerned? Roads that are giving problem. There is a road that they call us to severally now. I've been to that road 8 times. Along Lagos Abeokuta Express Road. That road on Ahmadiyya in front of Keystone Bank. Trailers are falling on that road more than 100 times. Nobody has ever, and it appeared that people have done a lot of hashtags. They put it on the Facebook, nothing. Put it on the social media, on Twitter, nothing. Why do we have people who are lethargic in power? Did they vote for you so that you'll be treating your ailments and be so lethargic? And be so and you are so peaceful that things are going wrong, people are making noise?
I have my video camera. I wanted to record it here. I'm always tired because it
has been happening every time.
I sent it to Buhari's Twitter. I sent it to Sanwo-Olu's Twitter that they should do something to this Minister for Work and Announcing. I sent it to their Twitter and I recorded the video.
You sent it to even Fashola? The video of this road?
Video of this road several times. I sent it to AIT several times. See.
And Fashola didn't do anything?
They didn't do anything.
You sent it to him on Twitter?
On Twitter. See. Send it to them. Sometimes you are always. I'm tired of.
So Fashola is even on Twitter and he will see
On
it.
Twitter.
And as the Minister of Works.
I have my video, but I'm just even tired of recording it here.
This is the video.
This is my video.
That you have used to record it.
To record it. I have my
severally.
system.
Kola and Mashalashi Road.
Kola and Mashalashi Road. I send it to them. I send it to AIT. I send it to Buhari, Buhari on Twitter. I send it to Masha. I send it to all of them.
Even Fashola too.
Fashola, Minister for Work and Housing. I send it to them. Sanwo-Olu, I send it to them.
That AIT Road and
AIT Road,
this Ahmadiyya.
AIT Road, Mashalashi, and this Ahmadiyya. I have all the video on my system here. Nothing has been done.
And now this one is not even petrol. This is a diesel that fell down now. If it is petrol, what are we going to say?
Nothing has been done.
Wow. God will save us. But we keep praying. We will keep praying.
Imagine when the trailer and the tanker and the container is falling now. Assuming that there's one smaller vehicle beside it now.
That's the
what
end.
will we be saying now?
Yeah, so maybe until that day they will now do it. Now wow.
Now when I was just passing here now, I'm even tired of recording. Because I've been doing it several times. I will record the video, I will edit it, I will cut it to smaller size. I'm able to send it.
No reaction.
No reaction. More than 3 times.
Wow.
And a lot of people do comment on the Twitter handle. I send it to them. Many times I uploaded it on YouTube so that I will be able to be sending the links to some other people. Nothing has been done. More than 3 times.
And this place has been there for more than 1 year now.
More than 1 year.
It's going to 2 years gone safe.
If you come here tomorrow, you see another job.
Another tanker will have fallen down.
Falling down. A container falling down. Almost every day. That is why I'm even tired of recording it. Because when somebody has been trying 2-3 times and nothing has been done, you know, sometimes you feel tired.
Look out. And no. Àfijọ́ tó bá dẹ̀ pààyàn. Ọlọ́run jẹ́ kó pa wá. I see that the people are happy.
Mr. President, if people are making noise in a particular sector and they are complaining that this sector is making life unbearable for them, the simple thing you can do is to sack the head of that sector and bring another next person. If the governor of Borno is complaining that the armies, the military people in his state are taking money from him, or they are taking bribe, they are not doing their job, and somebody in the army have the gall to say that the governor is putting himself in danger, that the military are going to show him, that person should have lost his job that very day. A governor is the chief security officer of a state, and he's saying that the military people surveying his state are not doing their job up to task, that they're taking bribery. The governor has come out severally in his convoy to address this issue, and all you allow them to do is to make the governor a target. And Mr. President, you are there. Do you think when you leave, people are not going to say things? I don't think you want to end your tenure as a politician. I strongly believe you want to end your tenure as an elder statesman. That is what we saw in you. We don't want to be ashamed of ever supporting you. Why will you allow the rogues to come back in 2023? They will tell you that Shoton, Shebu will told you that Buhari cannot do it. I'm afraid we're not hearing that somebody is coming back in 2023. A former custom officer, a former vice president, who appears not to, and they are telling us that he's going to be the best. And age is not even on his side. He's going to be over 70. But if you don't do these necessary things, how are you going to have a successor that all of us will support? That is where the problem lies. Lethargic attitude from politicians, fast-tuned into the atmosphere of elitism. They love their ambience. They just forget. They don't care what is going on in the street of Agege. They don't care what is going on in the street of Ikorodu. They don't care what is going on in the street of Ogoja. They don't care what is going on in the street of Ibadan. They don't care what is going on in the street of Ota, Sanwo-Olu. They don't care what is going on in the street of Karkasara in Kano. They don't care what is going on in the street of Adejia. They don't care what is going on in the street of Tudunwada. They don't care what is going on in the street of Rano. They don't care what is going on in the seat of Ekpoma. They don't even care what is going on in the seat of Calabar. They don't care what is going on in the city of Brinigudu. Everything is just quiet. They just enjoy taking their drugs and sleeping. Hi, what's the meaning of that? If people are complaining that the military is not up to task, then change the chief of army staff. If people are complaining that roads are not good, then change the minister of works. Maybe we can get another result. If people are complaining that the minister of information has become so lackadaisical and most of the things he churn out, people don't even believe him again, then get another fresh blood to come and do that job. I know that you like to keep people for their proficiency, but at times it could become a weakness. Mr. President, we are just begging you because this is too much. SARS is a signal. It can skyrocket from there. This book was released after the experience of the Arab Spring. That is, he said this book is about the huge differences in incomes and standards of living that separates the rich countries of the world, such as the United States, Great Britain, and Germany, from the poor, such as those in Sub-Saharan Africa, Central America, and South Asia. As we write this preface, North Africa and the Middle East have been shaken by the Arab Spring, started by the so-called Jasmine Revolution, which was initially ignited by public outrage over the self-immolation of a street vendor, Mohamed Bouazizi, on December 17, 2010. December 17 is the date of your birthday, Mr. President. The Arab Spring started on December 17, 2010, on your birthday in the Arab country. That is a message for you. By January 14, 2011, President Zine El Abidine Ben Ali, who had ruled Tunisia since 1987, had stepped down. But far from abating, the revolutionary fervor against the rule of privileged elites in Tunisia was getting stronger and had already spread to the rest of the Middle East. Hosni Mubarak, who had ruled Egypt with a tight grip for almost 30 years, was ousted on February 11, 2011. The fates of the regimes in Bahrain, Libya, Syria, and Yemen are unknown as we complete this preface. The roots of discontent in these countries lie in their poverty. The average region has an income level of around 12% of the average citizen of the United States and can expect to live 10 fewer years. 20% of the population is in dire poverty. That is Egypt. This book, I've been reading this book and there are a lot of secrets. Mr. President, you cannot await to experience this Arab Spring. If you experience the spring here, your reputation is gone forever. we that immortalize you, we that see you as the best thing that happened, we are in trouble. If NSAS can be so resounding like this, then you should ask the IG of police. Yes, this IG is a fantastic IG. He's a brilliant. From his profile, I read that he's the first black officer to be employed in the Interpol. I mean, why should it be difficult to arrest Yahoo boys? Why should it be difficult for him to arrange a squad that will arrest internet fraudsters? Why should this useless thug, bastard, this rogue-looking SARS boys be arresting and be killing people? They gave them a brief: arrest armed robbers. Then they escalated it. They started arresting everybody that looks funny. They arrest and they extort money. They take them to the ATM to collect money, to do a lot of things. The stories are very many on the cyberspace. They are there on Twitter, on Facebook. People have horrible experience. I've just talked about Silver Shadi. Even my friend Kolajo Shori also had an experience in Sanwo-Olu. He was going to work. They stopped him and they started ransacking his car. And they said he should open his boot. They didn't see anything there. He showed them his ID card. They said, "What do you do for a living?" He said, "I'm a creative media professional." They said, "What's the meaning of creative media professional?" He said, "He's a creative director. He works in an advertising agency." And they said, "What's the meaning of that?" And they saw his phone. They said they should pick the phone. And one of them said, "Orogbo Ngboni." And it was then Kolomi, who is from Ile-Ife, spoke Yoruba to them that mi ò parọ́ fún yín. And they were like, so you speak Yoruba? And they wanted to handle his phone, but he was smart enough to let them know that he understands their language. And he took the phone from them. And eventually he parted with some money before they allowed him go. That is how bad it is. Another guy that was traveling, did a lot of stories on the internet, that was traveling with his two younger brothers. They stopped them, they picked those two, put them in their own vehicle and told him to be following them, that they want to search them. And when they look at your phone, they don't see anything. Some of them will even put something on your phone. I don't know how they know how to do that. And they will use that as an allegation. And by the time they take you to their bushes, to their corner rests, all their corner rests, they psychologically gag you, they put you under pressure, and they collect money. And that is what Mr. President should know. Some people should tell him the truth. People should tell Mr. President the truth, or else this president, it's sad. Mr. President, you need to start waking up. You need to look around. I'm not happy. Most of us are not happy. And you are not, look, nobody, in terms of honesty, none of these people can beat you. But if your honesty, if you are not smart with it in leadership, if you are slow and you are sleeping because of your honesty, you are not working, it's going to boomerang. Nigeria is not a country where people just sit and say God is going to take care of the country. God has really taken care of the country by giving us intelligent people. Segun Awosanya, the guy who started NSAS, is one of the brilliant brains. I watch him on Ovation TV when Chief Dele Momodu interviewed him, and that guy is a bundle of talent. Segun Awosanya is a bundle of talent. These are the guys you need to call to give you intelligence on how to reform the police, to give you intelligence on how to reform the youth industry in Nigeria. We don't need one Sunday Dari who is a PA to one funny politician before, and because of that you make him a minister. What's the meaning of that rubbish? Vested interest. We don't need that kind of character. You can give him something else. Maybe you can put him DG of an organization. Talk to people like Segun Awosanya, who have the intellect, who have the passion, who have the emotion to engineer the youth. Another person that you should search out for is Lukman Oyewole Lawal. This guy, I learned, is now working for the speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila. Lukman Oyewole Lawal is another person who has a strategy on how to handle the youth. Lukman Oyewole Lawal, I've known him in the last 3-4 years. Ask him wherever he is. I've been interviewing him in the last 3-4 years before he got his appointment. I don't collect a dime from him because his intellect inspires me. These are young people that can change Nigeria. Imagine if you have a Lukman Oyewole Lawal in the Ministry of Sport and youth development. Imagine if you have a Segun Awosonya in the Ministry of National Planning. The Bible says, the deep call unto the deep. Only fools follow fools. Rogue politicians follow rogue politicians. I want to pin owo, settlers. They follow each other. They talk about money. We are tired of politicians that are giving money, settling everybody. You settle them, you give them money every year. All the politicians you give money, they are busy building hotels. Then every year they roll out the money and they start doing political contests. Ele lo na oju, ele lo pin oju, ele ni baba ma lo. That is rubbish. Ele lo ma lo, ele lo fe lo. What kind of lilo niyen? You reload the phone niyen. Mr. President, ask for people like Lukman Oyewole. Ask for people like Segun Awosonya. Ask for good people, even when they are the opposition. Ask for their technocrats. Tell people to go and fetch them out once in a while. Look out for these people. Find people who are honest, who can tell you the truth, what's going on. You don't want to leave this president and people will not want to hear your name again. You don't want to leave power and you will not be able to go to any gallery to give a lecture. You don't want to leave power and people will say a lot of things that you won't want to hear. You don't want to leave power and your children will be ashamed. They want to put your name in the front of their name. SARS is a red signal. SARS is a red signal. SARS is a test of what's going to happen. Look at in the power sector. People are collecting arbitrary bills. We kept complaining. In Ojokoro Ijaye area, some people carried out protests in the month of April and May. They protested. It is not only that place that Ikeja Electric is destroying people's life, but they said one of the managers there, what's his name, Fred Odogbo, is making life difficult for people. Is sending his boys to go and disconnect people illegally. Then he collected arbitrary money, charges from people. He levies houses in a very terrible way. Then more than 5 communities came out and protested. They reported him. It's on the social media. It's everywhere. It's on Twitter. It's on Facebook. It's on YouTube. And you know what? Till today, that same Fred is still sitting as the service manager of Abule Taylor undertaking. Then people are also crying that they send a lot of notes. People, they send requests. They send paying SOS to NEC, Nigeria Energy Regulation Commission Forum in Ikeja, and they don't treat those issues. And those that they treat, they don't even give them justice. They give justice back to the man who pays the piper because he dictates the tune. Meaning that Ikeja Electric, from the business system of Ikeja Electric, fraud is the name of the game. A proactive presidency will have taken cognizance of those protests, will have taken cognizance of those requests, and will have fired the head of NERC. If people in NERC, Nigeria Electric Regulation Commission, appears to have been in tandem with the discourse, appears not to be sanctioning the discourse, then fire all of them and bring new set of people. When some people misbehaved at that time, I think in Nama, when Vice President Osibajo was acting president, they misbehaved. They did something funny. If you Google it, you will see it's Nama directors. The Vice President, who was acting president, fired all of them. That is how to send message. But people are complaining about the Ikeja Electric and some other fraudulent discourse. Even Ibadan Electric and is it Benin Electric and even Enugu Electric. People are complaining everywhere. They are complaining to NEC, and NEC appears to be helpless. There is no sanction. There is nothing doing. So who is in charge of NEC? That person should be queried and fired. If people appears not to be doing their job, they should lose that job. Another person should take over. Mr. President, every blame is going to be on your head. They are going to say that under Buhari regime, people complain about energy, there was no response. People complain about the army, there was no response. People complained about cost of living, there was no response. People complain about the banking system, there was no response. Today, many banks are taking money from people's account, they surcharge, and they know nothing will happen. Even telecommunication companies, you load the card and they steal it, 500 naira, they just steal everything. they steal it at once. And nobody talks. The only bank that is service oriented, that appears to be, at least, that have tested their service quality control, is UBA. I don't know if any other bank, but most of these banks, you complain, nothing happened. They tell you nothing will happen. In Ikeja Electric, do you know what happened? A friend whose house was illegally disconnected, we wrote a letter to Meron police station, and this is a month plus. They have not invited the lady that did it. On the case, we quoted, a lawyer wrote, we quoted the law that is against illegal detonation. And why did she disconnect them illegally? Because the person paid for prepaid, and for 3 months they didn't supply, and the person complained that they are coming to take bribe from his family. And this woman, this lady, one more not, Olu, would have worked with the same friend Odogbo, brought boys, and they disconnected his light, and they said Shenyilele sorrow. That is the kind of impunity that is going on in Nigeria under President Buhari. We frowned at all these things under President Jonathan, and that's why we kicked him out. And now people are trying to make him look like an angel. Jonathan is not an angel. He's the one that sold the discourse to the capitalists with that human face. People are moving out from what they call it, COVID-19 arena. The COVID-19, those 3 months from March to May were some of the most horrible months in the history of humankind. A lot of people lost their job, lost their businesses, some lost their life, some lost their health. And all you do is that people that want to travel, they must pay 50,400. And all you come out is that private school are charging arbitrarily. Then all we come out to meet is that NEPA, power disco company, are charging arbitrarily, and there's no punishment for them. They are free. Mr. President, if you leave power without solving the issue of power generation, we will regret ever supporting you. We will regret it. If you leave power after 3 years and nothing happens about this electricity, and people are still complaining, and they are bringing horrible bills, nobody's going to forgive that discretion. And I know, Mr. President, you don't want it to happen. You have already told us your challenge, that age is not your friend. And because you are honest, we trust you. But please, surround yourself with honest people who can tell you the truth, even if it gets you angry. Surround yourself with people who can tell you the honest truth. When Fashola was governor of Lagos, in most time he goes out in the night. He comes to hospitals disguised. At times he goes on roads to just inspect. He disguises. His political godfather wanted to remove him after first tenure. Lagosians said no, and he got his second tenure. You, Mr. President, also said no then. We are aware that you supported Fashola, and that's why you made him your minister. Will you allow them to become redundant, and people will now hate them than they love them? Look at Governor Akinwumi Ambode. The kind of project that governor did in Lagos, I have not seen any governor, maybe except Jakonde. He opened 22 roads in very local interior areas of Lagos, roads that connected us to Ogun State. He created he did 3 Silver Jubilee bridges. He changed the whole atmosphere of Ojudubega. In fact, they are calling that bridge Ambode Bridge. Go to the other place where he lives, Aja, look at that bridge there. Then come to Abulegba, look at the flyover bridge. Then even go to Agege, look at what he did, that they are now completing now. And some bunch of scallywags came up and said because he was not sharing money, that he must not come for second time. What kind of a thing is this? And you say the youth should not be angry? The youth are just waking up. And you say you should not ask? It's because the political system has collapsed. It appears. Mr. President, you are the head of this regime. And I know you don't want things to get bad. You are a very honest person. The only problem is that Omipo Jokalo, you are being surrounded maybe by people who don't want to tell you the reality. Maybe they are afraid if they tell you, it will affect your health. But is it not good for you to die for the nation and your name written in gold than for you to leave power with your health and your reputation gone sour? Look at what is happening to Jonathan. Look at what is happening to all of them. Even President Obasanjo, as much as we love him, they are still abusing him over that road near his place, Lagos Abeokuta Express Road. They're still doing a lot of things. They're seeing a lot of things. These are leaders that we should respect. And Mr. President, I am very proud of you. I'm proud of you. Everybody knows. But you want to disappoint me and I won't allow it. And SARS is a red flag. And we must dissect it. There are a lot of things that is happening. And I think I support the 5 objectives of the Nigerian, the 5 demands of the protesters, that they should be investigated. All those people. Let me read it out. You know, the SARS, they said you must end SARS, then you must respect the constitutional right of every Nigerian, then you must investigate those SARS, especially those in Lagos. Majority of them did a lot of terrible things. They must be investigated. The family of people that were killed unjustly should be invited. There should be another Oputa panel. They should be allowed to express their pain, their deep pain. They should tell the world what happened so that we know the kind of judgment you're going to meet on these guys. And those SARS, especially those in Ibadan, in Lagos, their bank account should be checked. Their property, they should be investigated thoroughly. How did they make money? They should be investigated thoroughly, and if judgment is to be, they should be punished. That is how justice is being served. That is how you bring peace to the mind of the people. People have lost valuable things to SARS. They've lost relations. Some lost children. Some lost fathers. Some lost mothers. The slave trade. And when they took them off overseas to those lands, what did they use them for? They used them for farming. They used them to beautify their own land. And they were the people who started the revolution. They are Greek. Even up to the Industrial Revolution, they were used to achieve some of those good things. And it was when Industrial Revolution came by and they were being overpopulated that the white people don't need them again. That's why they brought them back to Nigeria. And some other African countries like Liberia, which is a land of free people, black people that are brought back, and even Freetown. That's why they call it Freetown in Sierra Leone. Why can't you apply the common sense of history to deal with your youth crisis? Criminal youth should be arrested. If you say you send somebody to prison with hard labor, then use him on the farm to achieve the hard labor. Those 7 years they're going to spend, those 5 years they're going to spend, let them go and be part of the agricultural revolution. I'm waiting for a president who can understand all these things. Not somebody that people were afraid to tell the truth. For the NSAS, make it to be ended. And for the police, please, there should be a total overhaul. Let me give you another sad story. 2 months ago, I visited a female colleague in, I think it's Ojokore area, yeah, Lerato. It was during the protest for the electricity crisis in that area. And in their streets, there are a group of boys that smoke. They've been smoking Igbo, smoking weed for the past more than 2 years. Maybe they call them Jasper boys. I don't know who is Jasper. And they create all sorts of nuisance on that street. And I told him to call Meron Police Station, and he said he has called them severally and they will never turn up. And I said, okay, let's test them when I'm here. We have it recorded. I'm going to do a video on it later. And that day, I told him to use another phone. I said, because there might be a backlash. You don't know if these boys are in tandem with the police. And that was what we found out. These Igbo boys. There's another one, they call Omolo Go there. Is their chairman that sells this cannabis to them. I told him, I said, use another number. So we got another SIM card and he used to call the DPO. She's a lady. And I pray that she should hear this broadcast, because even though she tried during the lockdown, but on that occasion she disappointed me. And they told her, oh, some boys are smoking, blah, 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 blah. And she said, okay, where? They told her where. And it was like, she was like Adesikai initially. But when the call kept coming, she said she's sending her men. You can imagine, look at the scenario. She said she sent her men that they are coming. Then after some 10 minutes, the boys were even fighting at that time. They were fighting. It was a Sunday. After some 10 minutes, nothing happened. Then we called her back. She said, oh, her men said they've been calling her number, we are not picking. And we said, no, there's no iota of truth in that. If anybody called our number, we will have told the person where the thing is happening. And that street is a very popular street. It's called Boripe Street off Lerato. I mean, police should be able to know the geography of where they serve. If not, that they say united whatever between them. Now, after that, we told her. Then she now said, then when I saw that my friend was having problem communicating with her, I took the phone and I told her, I said, Mad, I'm a journalist. I'm talking to you and I want you to act on this matter. And immediately she changed. She said, okay. Then when those men called, do you know what they did? They said, oh, we're in front of also place. And where are you? And I was wondering, how can you give police information about people that are smoking in their home? And the police came. We have it recorded though. We have everything. These things are recorded. We're going to do a show on it. That's how bad the police has gone. And they said, where are you? And I collected the phone and I told the guy that, what do you mean? How will you ask, where are we? And they said they've been calling us. They are waiting in social place and we're supposed to go and see them so that we can take them there. And I said, look, you cannot tell somebody that is giving information to come out. You are exposing the life of that person to danger. We don't even trust you, police, because you might even call the head of the Igbo seller and say, this is the person that gives the information, so that they can go and harm the person later. And I spoke to the guy on phone and he became so rude to me. He's an officer. I have his name written somewhere. He was so rude. And he said, that's why we're calling you. You're not listening. So we called back the boss and we told her, this is what your boy have just done. And I think this is unacceptable. This is a discreet information. Intelligence is about discreet information. And she said, oh, she's sorry. She's going to talk to them. Do you know, it took those guys almost an hour to arrive the place. This is a place that is just 5 minutes from their station. In fact, 7 minutes. They were snailing. They were hiding. And when they got there, we were watching them from afar. Do you know they went to meet the head of the smoke chain people, Omologu, and that one was telling that le mumi now, le shifu me now, ajo wani, le mumi, le arrest me now, talo sobe, we want it down on the boy, talo, and it was obvious that they broke the information to him that it's people in this street that gave our guy information, and nobody was arrested. Those boys just moved to another place, and to even make matter worse, rain started raining on that day. So they just let them, they collected, I think he bribed them and they drove their vehicles away. That is the kind of police we have. A police that you want to call, you are afraid. A police that you want to call to a situation and they won't answer you. I have never seen this kind of thing. I have used the police severally, and in all situations, I always have money. If I don't have money, I cannot arrest anybody. Because you must motivate. Only few. And when I say few, out of 10 police, you can only find 1 or 2 who are genuinely honest, who use their discretion. One of them is in that mirror. There's one, is it Baba Ogundeji or something like that. When we had a case there, very honest man. I think he's a DCO there. We treated the case there and he was very honest. In fact, we want to even give him a tip, he rejected it. He's very honest. There was a time I also have a case in Sango. We have somebody like that too in Sango, then Sango Command. That was in 2018 when I was effecting the arrest of some chain smoker, weed smoker in my parents' house in Bible College Estate. We have few police. Out of 10, you can only see 1 or 2 who are very honest, who do their job with conscience. All of them, most of the majority are fraud. And those that carry gun are just like, they behave like, I mean, before you give somebody gun, you must train the person. So, Mr. President, SARS is not just going to be SARS alone. It's going to metamorphose. People are going to ask for more. And impunity. You are a symbol of anti-corruption. It must not be said that in your regime, corruption went higher and corruption became an industry. You are a symbol of anti-corruption. It must not be said that in your regime, a politician who is known who is a symbol of corruption, is now the one in charge. I like the way you are going about some of your politics, but it is not enough. You need to be very strategic. Like I said, you must ask for people like Segun Awosanya and ask for people like Lukman Oyewole Lawal. These are people who can handle the issue of youth. The youth industry is not an industry you should joke with. They should be engaged. They should be reformed. If you arrest those Yahoo boys and other criminals, rogues, let them be used to develop agriculture. Don't just lock them in Kirikiri. Don't lock them in Geshua prison. Don't lock them in Agodi prison. Don't lock them in Ekiti prison. Don't lock them in Nupe prison. Don't lock them up just like that. Let them be used as a beacon of agricultural revolution. Let them work. And that will give you... I can't understand how we can't do that. A lot of young people are now in NURT doing all sorts of things, causing trouble. We're going to do a video on that one differently. A lot of terrible things happening. Why should you be in Lagos and everywhere is chaos? And I saw the governor to joining them yesterday, and I just shake my head. The governor of Lagos. Even though, well, it does not look like someone that is serious to me, but I hope he can be serious, like Governor Body. I hope he can take governance serious and stop those VIOs on the road and find a way to repair most of the majority of the roads that are in bad shape, because it does not symbolize anything good. Somebody is so angry. They should learn from good administrators like the one in Ibadan, Governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde. Yes, I might not like his PDP, but his personality I appreciate. Governor Obaseki, I might not like his PDP, but his sense of leadership I appreciate. Someone like Governor of Cross River in Calabar, what's his name, that professor, I might not like his PDP, but his administration is fantastic. Even the governor of Akwa Ibom, that banker turned governor, who decided to fall out with his godfather, is doing fantastically well in Akwa Ibom. Yes, I know there are some issues of human rights abuse, which we're going to trash out, and it's going to also spell doom for him if he does not take care. But in terms of development, I can see him doing well. I might not like his PDP, but at least give people the liberty to live. Give people the liberty to say good about you. In Ekiti State, Governor Fayemi is trying. His APC is rotten, but his personality is different. I can't say about that one that they force on them in Osun State. That one does not even he does not look like a governor. He might have good agenda, but how he came, he has K-leg. Then who are they? All of them. A lot of good people. In Ogun State, the problem is too much. I hope that one will be able to do it. You know, so Mr. President, please, SARS is not just the beginning of it all. It's going to metamorphose. We are coming to the issue of electricity, arbitrary bills, killing bills, especially by Ikeja Electric. Petitions that are being served, Public Complaint Commission, they have a lot of petitions. 80% of those commission is about Ikeja Electric, followed by Ibadan Electric, and who again? Benin Electric. These are things that people should look into. When you allow capitalists to kill people or to do anything with their life, it's not good. There must be an organ that moderates transaction between the service provider and the ordinary people. There must be equality. There must be justice. People should not cry and the government will be sleeping. People should not cry and the government will appear not to listen. We need to listen to all what the protesters are asking for. We cannot afford a spring now. Mr. President, if a spring comes out now, it will never be good. Everything is gone. And every spring is either a junta emerge or a group of people. Then let me also give kudos to other people like Mrs. Yesufu. Mrs. Amina Yesufu, thank you. God bless you for your courage. Mrs. Aisha Yesufu, God bless you. Our brother, Mr. Omoyele Shuore. This country should appreciate that young man, a great man, very innovative man. Yes, Mr. President, you should call Omoyele Shuore too. These are the kind of people you should call for a meeting. People like Amina Yesufu, call them, have a meeting with them. What is so bad about it? Call Omoyele Shuore, let him sit down. Let him tell you things that you need to do for these young people. They might not be the best that you love. Don't let them be painted bad. These are people who have their own personal pain. Omo Yeshua is the first Nigerian journalist to start a YouTube channel just from a laptop. Started a journalism career that is booming. He's a very honest young man. I don't see anybody sponsoring him. He's a very successful blogger, and he has his own rights. The IG of police was talking to Davido. Well, that one is a musician. You should talk to real people who think. Omo Yeshua, Aisha Yesufu. These are the kind of people you should talk to. Then look for Segun Awosonya. Then look for Lukman Oyewole Lawa, who is now working with the speaker. Lukman Oyewole Lawa has, I have seen it. He has it. He has the document. What they call it? He has a formula on youth development. Go and search for him. That guy, I know him. I've interviewed him severally. I don't collect money to interview those kind of people. And I don't even collect money when it comes to celebrating the truth. Omo Yeshua should be invited. Aisha Yesufu should be invited. Lukman Oyewole Lawa should be invited. Segun Awosonya should be invited. Those are the kind of people we need to start thinking for us. Not a bunch of old sluggard people telling you they want to come to power in 2027 and 2023, and they are spending money, and they are sharing money, they are doing this, is this, is that. Who is he? And their children want to become governor, and now they finally become minister. They become DG or parastatal. Why? Go and sit down. If you have been able to put people up and you sit down and watch, be a statesman. Stop it. Mr. President, please. SARS is a red flag. We cannot afford to have a revolution now. If you allow it, it will happen because you will just tell people to keep killing and you become a big one. And you won't like it. Your reputation is too big. The way we respected you. I have lost a job because of you before. I have lost a job because I supported Buhari. And I'm still supporting him. Why should you make it look as if Atiku is the best and is coming back in 2023? And they will tell you, no, Buhari failed. You see now. Please, Mr. President, may God help you. May God strengthen you. May God give you this new wisdom. SARS is a red flag. And we should not let it escalate to another thing that you'll not be able to handle. But if it happens, well, it is still the dynamic of democracy. But I pray that Mr. President will take this broadcast in a good light. It's a protest broadcast. I'm keeping my bed. You can see the way I'm dressed. The police should be taken care of. The police need a total overhaul. And their remuneration should be well paid. Where they live, their barracks should be changed. They should give them a decent place to live. They should give them enough money, enough training, enough motivation. A policeman should leave his house and be happy that he's a police. Not that he wants to come and unleash his anger on the people he's supposed to be guiding. A policeman should not be made to be carrying the handbag of the first lady or the wife of a governor. A policeman should be a policeman. He should be respected. Let's bring back CID. What happened to CID? Criminal Intelligence Department. These are people that goes into town. They go to where they are drinking. They on mufti. They drink. They gather intelligence before the attack. Not these bastards and rogues who put themselves in vehicle and stopping people and arresting people, put them inside the vehicle. We are not in a fascist state. We are not living in a guerrilla state. We are not. We are living in a democratic state, a democracy. Return the CIDs. Let them go around. Let there be a popular phone number that you can report Yahoo guys. Let there be. People can report. Let there be a popular phone number you can report criminal element in the society, so that it will be easy for the police. Even the police that people don't trust, how do they relate with them? In Abuja, a woman told the police, that was last year, a woman that worked in the presidency, Mr. Buhari, reported Yahoo boys in a neighborhood to the police, and she was killed before the next day. That is not a good testament in a country like this. So what happened to those police that they reported the case to? They should be in jail now. They have been arrested, prosecuted, and sent to 21 years slam in jail for divulging the information to those Yahoo boys. How did they know that they were the one that reported? There should be a district. There should be a number. Not that the one they share from time to time and you call, nobody speaking. The police need a total overhaul. Employ people that read psychology, people that read philosophy, people that read history. Those are the kind of people that you need in police. Then you retrain them. I'm advising. I hope it will be taken in good faith. Till I do the next video, I want to plead to everybody, please, when you watch this video, make your comments. You can share the video. And please, above all, let's pray for the leaders. Let's pray for the president to have the right discretion to take charge of the affair of this country and to take decisions that will matter, not the decision that will bring us to public ridicule. Till the next time I release the next video, I thank you for watching. God bless you. Goodbye.